All right, let's try that again. Ay, man, this is really annoying. I'm going to have to do a total fresh install of everything. Oh, that's not
That
annoying.
sounds fun.
We're live.
Oh, I'm eating
Anyway,
chocolate.
right. All right, I don't know. Christine isn't not showing up on screen. Okay, I'm just adding her now. Yeah, the list contributes to a growing sense of the vastness of a sex abuse epidemic that has plunged the Catholic Church into scandal. Really, that's kind of old news already. It's continuing.
Well, I would think that since that's how they dealt with it so long, historically it's been a bastion of abuse that has gone on.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing this, right? But the problem is, what are we doing moving forward? What are the we already know from this weekend that there is still no zero tolerance, even though zero tolerance suits the Vatican when it so chooses, like bishops that ordain women, that kind of thing. They're immediately gone. Zero tolerance on that. Anything that I can't call it advancement of women to be, in the pulpit. I mean, I'm like, that's like, I don't know. I can't think of anything analogous. It's kind of a very iffy equality. I mean, you could say bullshit, just like old dude over there. And it does every Sunday. Or
You can be more than the nun.
Yeah. Well, we got a story coming up about nuns too, so don't worry about that. So Mexico. Here's another one. Mexico Archbishop says that 152 priests in Mexico have been removed for abuse in the last 9 years. Yay. So they've been.
So we uncovered a nest of vipers. It's always been a nest of vipers from what I can see and how they dealt with it. So what's the prevention? And they seem to be downplaying it, if you ask me.
Oh, it's just
at every chance they can get.
This whole weekend was terrible.
And then they start blaming.
Well, yeah.
Last time we were talking about this, they were blaming
they were just saying, well, it occurs everywhere, so what? Yeah, it didn't make sense.
That's right.
They're being defensive about it. They don't really think that through, because if you think about it, well, that means that having religion is not any better than, anybody else. So what good is religion exactly now?
Well, way to exploit people for money.
It doesn't make people better. Yeah, of course. It doesn't make people better, even though it thinks it does.
Well, it claims.
It depends on what you define as better. I mean, some people define good as obeying God, which is like pretty shitty definition of good, but they do think that way.
Yeah, they don't obey everything in the Bible. Aren't they supposed to not eat shellfish and...
Yeah, not wear mixed fiber clothing and stuff like that. The next scandal that's gonna... I don't think it's going to be as big as the child sex abuse scandals, because it's harder to hear the stories of nuns, like sexual abuse of nuns. Long-standing church scandal emerges from shadows. I've known about this for a long time, but you don't hear about it because they keep oops. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I got to call you back. I have to call you in. Okay, are we both at... What the heck? I'm going to... Okay, call them. Why aren't you calling them? Oh, for crying out loud. Christine, it wrecked everything. Here we go. There we go.
Hey.
Hey, where's Christine? I gotta call her in. I gotta bring her in.
Yeah, otherwise it'll interrupt this one.
Yeah, that happens when it gets what the heck? How come that is? How come you look weird there?
I blurred my background. Does it look really weird now?
No, you got a kind of a picture in a picture going there. I don't understand that. Anyway, yeah. So Pope Francis publicly acknowledged the problem for the first time, and yeah, abusing nuns. It's bad. Don't do it. Don't do nun abuse. Stop it.
Okay, so what?
They're abusing everybody.
What? Yeah, what haven't they abused?
Yeah. Polar bears. I don't know. I'd love to see them try that. Like, just, hey, head up to Churchill and abuse some polar bears. Just, I dare you. Yeah, nun abuse. But I'll go to this first. Oh no, where is it? Where's my thing on? Lose this. Oh, for crying out loud! Yeah, I don't have the article up. Give me a moment here. Oh, I think I just passed it. Yes, campaigners furious after Pope's defensive speech on child abuse. So, people who had been abused were looking for a zero-tolerance approach to pedophile priests and bishops who cover up their crimes. And if they were looking for it, they were sorely disappointed this weekend. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. Some diocese, every diocese is pretty much left to its own devices in terms of how they handle abuse cases. Some actually do phone the police. Most don't. So it's somebody here, Anne Barrett Doyle, the co-founder of Bishop Accountability, which tracks clergy sex abuse cases, described the speech as recycled rhetoric. She says this, quote, "I am utterly stunned. The Pope has undone the tiny bit of progress that possibly was achieved this week. He was defensive, rationalizing that abuse happens in all sectors of society. Ironically and sadly, he exhibited no responsibility, no accountability, and no transparency." I mean, yeah, abuse does happen in a lot of places, but there's a difference between how abuse is handled by the church and how it's handled by those other areas in society, like, say, public schools.
Yeah.
Big
they actually
difference.
Do report to the police.
Oh, they immediately remove the person accused from access to children, and until an investigation either results in their arrest or they're cleared, and that's the way it should be handled. None of that. The thing is, it's a patchwork of how they treat these things. I got to find the talking points because I don't think I have them up. And we got a lot. Here's hearing testimony. Yeah, we've heard. Yeah, so despite, and that's the thing. The Pope did listen directly to abuse victims, and yeah, they heard some searing testimony. As somebody said, it looked like swearing testimony. That's pretty funny. Here's another one. I'll have to look at that too. But where's those guidelines? Could you look up the guidelines, the talking points that Pope Francis was talking about, like instead of concrete action, he was bringing up 21 points of meditation or something like that. Could you look that up for me?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I got to go back to. I love this. Secret Vatican guidelines for priests who father children is revealed. There's another dirty little secret. Worldwide, I've heard the number is 40% worldwide priests that are married. I know I don't know if that happens here, but I assume it does. They're secretly married, but they also have it's pretty historical having nieces and nephews, which what they used to be euphemistically called the children, illegitimate. I hate that word because they're children, children outside of wedlock, by what was supposed to be a celibate pope. They're called nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Very polite.
Oh, I did find the 21 points.
Ship it over on Skype.
Okay.
And I'll have a look at it because that's good. It's just been one long historical, what do you call it, shit show? Like
21.
Yeah. Listen to the cry of the young who want justice, Francis told a gathering of 190 leaders of bishops' conferences and religious orders. The holy people of God are watching and expect not just simple and obvious condemnations, but efficient and concrete measures to be established. Yeah.
We can bring Christine in.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I can't. I wish I could find the actual talking points. Where are they? If you can find the actual talking points, that would be good.
Yeah, the whole.
I'll just keep on moving here.
Yeah.
But 21 proposals to fight sexual abuse. Yeah. They're not listed in this. But take heart, Catholics. Don't worry. The 70th miracle at Lourdes healing is officially declared to be supernatural. Hey, where's Joe Nickel? Can we give Joe Nickel a call? We should actually have him because we to talk about this specifically. Lourdes is just a joke. Yeah. So people that believe in miracles investigate something and say, I don't know what caused that. Must be a miracle. Isn't that just bloody lovely? Okay, well, let's see if she comes in again. Like, seriously. French nun miraculously healed. Well, she's still pretty old to me. You might want to get rid of those wrinkles, too, if that were, God, if we're thinking outside of the box here, God exists for these people. Okay, so God thinks that of all the people who are sick and crippled and whatever, 70 get a miracle. 70 measly people get a miracle. I mean, come on. I guess if miracles were a daily occurrence, they wouldn't really be miracles, right? I choose the definition of David Hume. A miracle is a suspension of natural law, and I think that's a pretty darn good. I don't believe it's something that is statistically unlikely. Can be considered a miracle because there's a chance it can happen. It's hardly, you roll the dice enough times, and guess what? It's it's going to come up, 20 sevens. I can't remember what the record is. There's actually a pair of dice in Vegas where somebody rolled a huge number of sevens in a row. Very statistically unlikely, but it's still going to happen. But suspension of natural law, that's a little bit different.
How do they prove it's better than chance?
Yeah, I don't know, and yeah, I don't know what they actually get people, experts in the field, to take a look and see if it was even if it's in their opinion possible that somebody would be cured of X, and they're actually, to be fair, they blind it. They don't tell the person why, the expert, why they're inquiring about this, and so they do some blinding, but seriously, pretty much every, except for brain death, I can't think of a single disorder which can't spontaneously remit. I can't think of one. I mean, brain dead is the only one that I can think of that there's really no chance of that, outside of a improper, improperly doing EEG, that kind of thing. Once you're brain dead, that's it. You're toast.
It's nobody seems to want to list. Instead, what this one article says, one idea called for raising the minimum age for marriage to 60. How's that going to do anything? Well, another suggests a handbook showing bishops how to investigate cases.
Oh, great! Yeah.
How about call the police? Don't leave it up to the bishops again. Like, how's... If you didn't do that before...
It's the fox investigating all the hen house invasions.
And we saw what happened when they did that.
Yeah, they cannot be trusted. They don't get it. This is the thing they don't understand. They cannot be trusted. We've been there. We've done that. Look how good that's working for them. Yeah, really. No, we can't allow them to do that. I mean, they think that canon law, everybody recognizes canon law. Oh, hell, no. No.
What about Sharia law then? If you have to recognize that, then you have to recognize Sharia.
Or Jewish law. There is such a thing.
Yeah. It's basically anything goes then.
Yeah. I mean, actually, something like Sharia law and Jewish law is actually subservient to the Canadian law.
Let's hope.
There's been some cases. There's one I remember, to get remarried within the Jewish faith, you have to get, after you're divorced, you have to get what's called a get. And this one man would refuse to give his wife a get, and she took him to court, and he was forced to do that. So there is precedent for subservience to Canadian law. Which is good. Oh, we're going into woo land there. All right, so we can't. Yeah, I wish I could find those talking points. Basically, was
nobody seems to want to actually
talk about them.
Those two alone were pretty useless. I'm assuming the rest are just as useless. And nobody seems to want to actually list them.
21 proposals. Maybe it's in this one. 3 minutes. Yeah. If I find them, I'm doing them in voice. Yeah. Okay, where are we at here? I know that it's got to be in here somewhere. This is an editing period. Give me some. Yeah, they don't actually talk about the points. That's the thing. The individual points. Very hard to find. I know I've seen them.
Maybe those were the two best out of the bunch.
I love this. Pope says unhealthy drinking water an immense shame in the 21st century. Yeah, it is, but I think molesting children is a bigger one. 21 proposals. Yeah, they were just absolutely ridiculous. I gotta find them. I will not rest until... Oh, jeez, proposal. Austin Herald. Let's see if they've got this silly summit.
Even if they listed it as a separate document somewhere, but...
Yeah, I can't find anything. Pope offers 21 proposals to punish predators. Whatever. I love that. One of these cardinals saying it's a grave sin to withhold information from the Vatican about candidates for bishops. How about molesting children is a grave sin? How about that?
Did anybody get a hold of this? Because he handed out a 21-point set of proposals, including some that would require changes to their canon law.
They all seem to be citing from the same source. I can't... 21 proposals to meditate on. Yes. No, just go. Come on. No, shush. Okay. Is there something? I know that they were talking about cultural, basically cultural relativism, and that's one of the reasons they were refusing to do a zero tolerance thing. But that's like, isn't child molestation kind of ubiquitously wrong, objectively wrong? Yeah, they're all getting their stuff. They don't actually list the actual. Calls for all-out battle against sexual abuse. Oh my goodness. So for 4 days, this has been going on. We are dealing with abominable crimes that must be erased from the face of the earth. Okay, so why not? What's with not having the zero tolerance? I could really hear that,
I'm sorry. We're cutting all this out, though, aren't we?
Probably. 21 reflection points. Yeah, nobody lists them. What are the Pope's 21 reflection points?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. Some of the points go... Okay. So, apparently some of the talking points go along with SNAP's demand. SNAP is is a body representing abuse victims. But right now they're just words on paper. Absolutely. So let's see what... Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with them. And nobody lists the damn points. Yeah. Why? Okay. We're really... I really want to find this because... because I want to find the actual points. Bear with me, folks. Okay, there's... Yeah. Basically, there's no zero tolerance. Point 15 on France's Francis's list, which suggests that the church's traditional principle of proportionality of punishment with respect to the crime committed should be observed, and asks for deliberation on defrocking. Deliberation? What's to deliberate? This is... Yeah, when a priest is found guilty, then you talk about penalties. Sure, but removal from the ministry is not necessarily a foregone conclusion. That's the problem. And in none of these points is called the police to be seen. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. Point 14 on Francis's list. That's hard to say, Francis's. Which states that the presumption of innocence in abuse cases ought to be applied in the ecclesial setting and called for the prevention of the publication of accusations even by dioceses before the preliminary investigation and a definitive condemnation. Again, no mention of police. It's just... I wish I could find the... Anyway, they're not going to release names until, it's total disappointment to people who are who have suffered abuse in the past, and none of this is at all going to prevent anything moving forward. What are the guidelines for being alone with minors?
Yeah.
Where's that? None of this is at all going to matter. You're still going to have the same, the same chance of being molested as a child as you did before, because there's no change in policy in terms of interacting with children. It's crazy. This is just insanity. Hey, why are we... It's no wonder everybody was disappointed in this. I don't think that's even the right word. I'd be pissed as hell. Yeah, this is just more saying and not doing. It's just same old. There's not going to be an end to this. And unless there's a zero tolerance policy, which involves calling law enforcement and handing over all information regarding any allegation, that's the minimum that should be, basically do what the public school systems do. Like they phone the police immediately, remove the accused from any access to children, and it goes from there. This is just they're going to investigate themselves. What good is this? What good is this? There's nothing here. There's just... And these people think that, say that they're men of God. Maybe that's true. God sucks. Okay? Your God sucks. I wouldn't worship it if it existed. There you go.
Even if it existed, it'd be too evil to worship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the thing that Christians don't get.
And they're reflection points, so who cares?
Reflection points. Yeah, they're not policy points. They're not saying, okay, this is why we're going to do things. Go meditate on this for a bit. Knock yourself out. See what you come up with. Yeah, do whatever.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever. Yeah, this is just more of the same crap, and it's time we have to just stand up and say, look, you know what? I'm gonna have to start pestering our local diocese.
Yeah, what is your policy on this now?
Why should we allow you to even exist as an entity? If you're going to take absolutely no action. And I think as the public needs to just stand up and just say enough. This is organized crime. This is yeah, I can't even think about this anymore. It's sickening. Oh yeah, here we go. Should we go?
Am I back?
Oh, you're back. Yeah, you are back. Oh,
finally.
Cool.
Wow. I don't know what.
Well, we were just finishing up
but...
on the Catholic Church. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening.
Oh, okay. Well, you know,
I'm helpless.
well, you know, they can take heart in knowing that the 70th miracle of Lourdes has been officially declared a miracle. Whoop de fucking do. Quack Tracts. I think it's Quack Tracts. Right? We're doing Quack Tracts. New stinger. Aha. Is it going? Not yet. Come on. Go. Play. Oh, damn it. It's not playing. All right. That's okay. I gotta put it on because it's not in here. Oh, I didn't put it in here. Okay. Anyway, next time. Sentencing hearing held for Calgary couple convicted in young son's death. Now, this is one of this couple's fans is David Stefan, of course.
Yeah.
Jennifer and Jeromie Clark were found guilty of criminal negligence causing death and failing to provide the necessaries of life in the death of their young son John. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
During the trial, the Crown
seems to be what happens when you hate medicine. Your kids die.
Yeah. The Crown told the jury that the boy was in septic shock and suffering from a staph infection and multiple organ failures. Great. So why didn't you get the child medical attention before that? Oh, but they did because, before I get to that, according to a pathology report, the boy was malnourished and died from a staph infection. So in other words, that kid was sick for a long time. Well, a staph infection, those could be really fast. A friend of mine's wife, I might have talked about this before. She was sick in the morning and in the evening she was in ICU. Not expected to live. But she slowly recovered and she made it through the weekend and then started recovering, and yeah, she was lucky.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this.
They were not expecting her to live. So we were all invited to go visit her for say our goodbyes. That was premature.
That's horrible.
Thankfully. Yeah. At the time of his death, I know this is a 14-month-old son. The child weighed less than 9 kilograms, about 20 pounds.
Gee, that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, that does not happen overnight. I mean, I know.
Oh my God. Carry on, Randy.
Yeah, had an inflamed rash covering the majority of his body, and he had blackened toes.
Jesus.
So he was already getting...
That doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, he's already getting necrotic. Yeah, jurors. This is where what I was alluding to before about medical attention. Jurors were shown online searches for natural remedies for gangrene, which included cabbage leaves and cayenne.
How come it didn't mean like chopping off the appendage and burning it so that the infection doesn't, the rot doesn't
spread? We're going to the goddamn hospital.
Yeah.
You know. And the defense suggested that doctors at Alberta Children's Hospital were to blame. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, because they rotted the kid's feet.
Yeah, I mean, they claim that they raised the boy's sodium and fluid levels too aggressively. That
has everything to do with rotten feet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's just ignore everything that happened before the kid got to the hospital, is what they're saying.
Yeah, no kidding.
Jennifer, who is 42, told the court that she often breaks down in tears, and Jeromie, 38, talked about the kind of man their son would have been. Yeah,
had you not tortured him to death?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I feel such deep sorrow and... Oh, no, I gotta do this. Sorry.
How come they didn't feel any sorrow when the kid was rotting to death?
Yeah,
I
that's about
feel
it,
such deep sorrow and loss. When death took Johnny and I had the realization it was permanent. Permanent?
Unlike the rotten feet?
Like, dead is... when is dead not... When is dead not permanent? Ugh.
How is a rotten stuff not permanent? You can't unrot things.
Yeah.
Like,
that would have been an amputation of some sort, undoubtedly, at the least. Oh, I'm sorry, it was my furnace. I'll mute myself.
Okay.
It's just not a good night. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my computer. I'm going to have to completely do a clean wipe and start over. Yeah, so this was a sentencing hearing, and they're going to be coming back later on. Yeah, it's just, this is a horrible case that was totally preventable. 100%.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, as usual, they try to blame the doctors.
Sure.
I'm sorry, the doctor didn't rot your child. You did.
Here's probably what was one of these websites that they went to. Home remedies for treating gangrene. Seriously, this is a thing.
You cannot treat gangrene.
Butcher's broom.
You can't make it better. You can't heal it.
Yeah, it's necrotic tissue. It's done. Butcher's broom is a kind of herb that can be used in the treatment of gangrene. The things that make the herb become one of the best home remedies are its abilities to deal with several diseases. Oh, I'm sure it claims to cure everything, but such as varicose veins and lymphedema.
From rot to varicose veins.
Hemorrhoids. It cures hemorrhoids. What a wonderful, wonderful root.
I'm not sticking that anywhere near my butt.
Apparently, beans and legumes are very good for the process of treating gangrene. Okay. And protein, too.
What is treating gangrene? Is it preventing the spread or actually curing rot? Like that? How?
Yes.
What is this we're talking about here?
Yes. Results.
God. People are delusional enough to think that they can make that dead tissue come alive again.
Vegetable juices are very beneficial for the body's health. Actually, eating vegetables would be better, but juicing them actually reduces their effect. Marshmallow, and not talking about campfires here. The herb, the root. Marshmallow acts very effectively in fighting against obstinate inflammation. Apparently, inflammation can be very obstinate.
Damn inflammation! Put it in its place.
Take some fresh roots of marshmallow, then crush them well. Apply the crushed roots on the affected areas. Leave it for a few minutes, then remove before the paste becomes dry and apply a new one. I wonder how often you have to do this.
That poor kid.
Yeah, it is recommended to combine marshmallow roots with slippery elm. What the hell is slippery elm? For the best treatment.
Oil your elm?
Cayenne, of course. Cayenne is one of the strongest herbs that could be used in the treatment of a variety of diseases, including gangrene. Interesting. Olive leaf extract.
Gangrene is not a disease!
Yes, it's a condition.
God.
Remedy. What? For gas gangrene? What the hell is gas gangrene? Olive leaf extract. Natural home remedy. Gas gangrene. Yeah, really raunchy farts. Rotten. Something's died inside or something. Without any side effects. Yeah, or any effects whatsoever.
Wow, miraculous. Obviously, this all worked really well.
Colloidal silver for
curing
gangrene. No, it's effective for bacterial.
Turning you into a Smurf.
But and that's only when it's applied to a wound. What the hell is Zell oxygen? I have no idea what this is. Zell oxygen is a rich source of live enzymes, B vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and antioxidants. Yeah, basically like food. Actually, eating a diet that's very high in antioxidants is not good for your life expectancy. Cabbage leaf dressings. Yeah. Cabbage leaf dressings for uterine gangrene, and echinacea, the most
Of
useless
course.
of herbs. The most useless of herbs. See, this
Well,
is
they
the
just
kind of
use-
crap they were
They
like.
can just pull stuff out of the air and use whatever. That
Yeah.
probably just make it worse, but whatever.
Moving on.
It's just disgusting.
Disgraced chiropractor who claimed to cure cancer was fined $30,000. And this is down under in Australia. And apparently a television show called The Current Affair went on an undercover sting operation, investigative journalism, and he was caught on camera calling himself a doctor of integrative medicine, whatever that is. That's kind of ill-defined. Yeah, he was actually deregistered as a chiropractor and was a part-time taxi driver.
Oh, okay. So that's why he's no longer chiropractor, but integrated medicine.
Yeah,
I get it.
So even the chiropractors wouldn't have him. That's pretty bad.
Oh God.
Yikes. Oh yeah, he told. Somebody who was interviewed said that this guy, his name is Zephyr, assured this person his tumor would grow out and fall off. Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm back, by the way.
Yeah, I tell.
Briefly.
So, and as that tumor was growing bigger and bigger, they just kept feeding to him that it's coming out and will drop off. Like,
Wow.
yeah, and
Gross.
like what the hell? What? This is cancer. Just ignore it. You don't go to a chiropractor. Why are you going to a chiropractor for? Well, for anything, but
Because
at least of
doctors
all,
are
cancer.
not. Doctors are bad, so
There's this anti-intellectualism that science is to be distrusted. Medicine is to be distrusted. You hear them talk about big pharma. I got accused of being a big pharma shill because I dared to say that vaccines are the most studied class of medicine that ever. They are. The side effects are very rare, and actually you're more likely to get those same side effects from the disease they're designed to prevent. Flu causes GBS at a higher rate than vaccines do. Vaccines increase GBS 1 to 2 people per million, and most people, of course, recover from GBS. But yeah, so he pled. So there was, all in all, there were 56 charges, and he was fined $30,000.
about time someone got fined for lying to people.
Would he have been, if he had been a chiropractor? I mean, would he have been received such? I mean, obviously the guy is even too far gone into outer space than even the chiropractic regulatory body can handle. So, yeah. So that person, by the way, with the tumor that kept on growing, died, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it was a tumor growing from his eye.
Gross.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, wow.
Do you know what an ungross tumor?
That one's actually visible from the outside, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. That's the criteria. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Out of sight, out of
I
mind.
can't
is
see the
okay,
ones
but-
inside, so yeah.
I know.
Well, you would think the guy would be more alarmed by the fact that he could see this disgusting thing on his face and stop listening to these people, but nope.
Wow.
yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't go to an actual doctor to have it treated. I just don't get it.
I wonder if
But
that's in
it's your
the
own choice. It's your
transcript.
choice. Okay, it's his choice. Fine. But what this guy cannot do is say he can cure cancer.
Mm-hmm.
That's out. You can't do that. and especially
Obviously, you didn't.
not being even a chiropractor. But even if chiropractor says that, that's out of bounds. But they're willing to give health advice on vaccines. Was it 3/4 of chiropractors believe that vaccines are bad?
Well, that's kind of education they get.
And Ontario is, oddly enough, the one place where it's more what I would call progressive in this. And chiropractors are not allowed to call themselves doctor in Ontario.
I thought that was all Canada.
No.
Yeah.
That's
Just Ontario.
The only place I know of is Ontario, and they're not allowed.
I'm surprised Ford hasn't walked that one back.
Give them time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not allowed to spread misinformation about vaccines.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So they can't do that. And here's this. We're getting onto the measles stuff now. Father at the centers of a measles outbreak in southern Ontario. Didn't vaccinate children due to autism fears. I would have a lot more. Okay, he says that 10 to 12 years ago, it is of course with the whole Wakefield thing. 10 to 12 years ago, the science was solid on the MMR vaccine. I mean, it was already solid.
Yeah, it was basically shame on the media and shame on anyone
shame
who.
On the Lancet. The Lancet should not have published that paper.
Yeah, it was so poorly done. There was such a tiny control group. It was such a ridiculous way that he went to a birthday party and it wasn't a study. This is not how you science.
Well, it was unethically obtained tissue
data
samples.
Yeah.
And he had a financial interest in
vilifying
the MMR vaccine. He had his own vaccine.
Yeah. He had his single vaccines. He needed to scare everybody about the, anything that wasn't a single vaccine, which is
but okay, that's fine. I can understand this, but when did you change your mind, and why didn't you vaccinate your children when you did change your mind? That is the thing that I don't like, and I would applaud this guy except for that. And so he went on a trip with his kids to Southeast Asia and came back. The children, one of his children was showing symptoms of measles on the plane. Oh, lovely.
Yeah. 11 years old?
They have spread it around.
Yeah.
No.
So what did 11 years old, one of his sons was.
At least he's old enough, he probably won't die of it, but he was lucky.
But the numbers don't kind of fit here, right? Because he said, we were cautious, how many years?
10 to 12.
10 to 12 years ago. So the kid's 11.
Yeah, they just forgot about it.
Yeah.
It's not important.
But still, really? You're a parent.
Yeah. My daughter was in, she's 22 now, so I think that was kind of in around the time that was just flaring up, and I just got online. I'm like, oh, bunch of bullshit, right? No problem.
When we went to Africa, the first thing we did was go to the travel vaccination clinic.
Yeah.
And I can't remember how many shots I ended up getting. That you have to think about these things. I mean, why didn't he think about it? Bad parenting.
Well, he probably believed it wasn't harmful, just like everybody else who.
You don't die usually from measles. In the Western world, death is an unusual. It still kills people, but it's relatively unusual. That ain't so in places like Madagascar, where I've got to find it now. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? Measles outbreak in Philippines kills 70, and it's because of these unfounded fears in measles vaccinations. There's also was it? No, that's not it. Oh wait. Oh, there we go. More than 900 dead in Madagascar measles epidemic.
But anti-vaxxers say they just don't live right there. The lack of nutrition, not lack of vaccination, is to blame, or lack of essential oils and other nonsense.
Yeah, people talk about mercury in vaccines. There's never been mercury in vaccines.
Not that. Well, never been ethyl mercury because it's a live vaccine. There's never been ethyl mercury in MMR because it's a live vaccine.
Well, that's not even mercury. That's an organomercuric compound with a completely different toxicity profile.
Yeah, it's not fat soluble, but people don't know chemistry, so it's easy to scare them,
mercury,
right?
And they hear mercury and they go nuts, as if.
Then it's easy to sell them essential oils instead.
Thimerosal has a very low toxicity, and the amount that you actually get, even if it was mercury, you wouldn't get enough to cause neurological damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing that people that talk about these things, they don't understand that the dose makes the poison.
Yeah, anything that sounds scary will kill you. Doesn't matter how much or how little.
Yeah, I know.
Water will kill you if you drink enough of it.
Yeah,
but that doesn't sound scary. It's water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Table salt.
I mean, we got to call it dihydrogen monoxide.
Yes, I was going to say.
Table salt has been used as a poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kill yourself eating enough of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Just mix it in water.
Oh, yeah.
We'll drink some ocean water.
But hundreds protest in Washington state for the right not to vaccinate their children. But I don't know if that's a right. I mean, there's a responsibility of the individual towards society. I mean, it's just this libertarian bent.
That's what I think too. It's your social responsibility.
Yeah.
But they think it's not. They think it's hurting.
Well, if the child can't have a vaccination because they're undergoing chemotherapy or something like that,
or too young.
Exactly.
Whooping cough.
Yeah.
Children die of whooping cough because they contracted it before they could be vaccinated.
That's true.
But now they're
so the adults around them have to make sure they are, so they won't catch it.
Yeah.
But they're hurting anything.
My vaccinations are all up. But they're starting to give the pertussis vaccine to pregnant women now. It's free in Alberta, so if you're pregnant, get the shot.
Whooping cough is bacterial, so your vaccine will only be a temporary, like tetanus. Like, you have to keep that up every, 5 to 7 or 5 to 10 years or 7 to 10 years?
I think it's 10.
Yeah.
What is it? You get tetanus. There's like 14.
DPT?
Tetanus is, I think, 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis.
Cough. Yeah. So do it, people. Because we as adults don't really think about that, and our doctors probably don't even ask us, right? So if you have small children, you have that tendency to get vaccinated when they get vaccinated, but if you don't have children, or you're just not thinking of it, do it.
Yeah.
But if they feel it's harmful and
I'm not the people that feel it's harmful and they're adults. Well, shit, that's really crappy. Do your social diligence and do it, but if it's been more than 10 years, do it.
Yeah, I'm glad that...
It's just something we don't often, talk about, right?
I'm glad that homeopathy place down on Sarcee Trail across from Market Mall is out of business. And
okay.
I don't know when that happened, but I should have... Yeah, it'd been great to know, and I would have thrown a party.
I don't know what you're talking about, but...
Oh, there was a homeopathy dispensary over by Market Mall.
Weren't those the ones that were speaking against vaccines?
They had a vaccination information
But is it kind of like...
That was one of our first podcasts.
Yep, long time ago, 5 years ago.
Isn't it like whack-a-mole, though?
Another one to pop up.
Or they'll get lunch, right?
I haven't seen another one.
Well, I think they would be almost like fusions of proper drugs. So what was the one in my area?
Yeah, pharmacies have some of this stuff too. It's like, geez.
Or the government will just give homeopaths $350,000 to go to another country. to push their wares there.
Yeah. I just want to talk about one thing here that before we get to that. About these hundreds that protest in Washington. I love this. So the parents are protesting to not have the right to not vaccinate their kids. The kids are turning to Reddit for vaccination advice.
That's
how to get vaccinated behind your parents' back because your parents are stupid and you don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Okay, not
getting
stupid,
good advice.
but misinformed by alties or just choosing to be ignorant of facts or however they got to their conclusions.
Yeah, that's good because it doesn't matter how old you are. You should be up in your vaccinations. And actually,
I have one of Kara's friends hasn't been, and I just he's like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm just like, I just put the screws to him all the time, like, get your vaccinations.
I would like to see doctors push that.
Coming to an age where their friends are starting to have children, and what if he he hasn't had his the one we just spoke about, right?
Yeah.
Not only is a threat for him, for tetanus, let alone the other ones that we do, right? But he could be putting his friends' children at risk, and
the ones that are too young to be vaccinated.
Yeah, and he's old enough now that he can obviously do it without his parents' permission or whatever, and I just keep putting the screws to him. Yeah. And
you can do.
Anybody out there that knows children who haven't been vaccinated, encourage them to do so. Maybe I'm a bit of an asshole about it, but maybe there's a gentler and
maybe you just
persuade, but
give a crap.
Well, this kid is there's a reason I speak to him like that, because we can talk to each other that way, right? So, but if you know people that haven't been, try to persuade them. By whatever persuasion possible.
Okay, now we're on to the story. This is a great title. Why is $350,000 in Canadian aid being used to send homeopaths to Honduras? Now,
for some reason, this started in 2015.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So
this organization
wait till you hear this, folks. This is unbelievable. I know, Twyla, you've done a bit of digging on this. I'll let you go with it.
Well, I wanted to find out who these homeopaths were and how they got the money. So, from the original article, they mention the place that got the money. I mean, it's a group of Canadian homeopaths saying they can detect, prevent, and treat a disease in the Honduras called Chagas disease. It's a tropical infection that begins with flu-like symptoms and can end with heart failure. Now, the only proven treatment are costly pharmaceutical drugs. So they don't really mention here whether Chagas, it's a trypanosome. It sounds like kind of a parasite.
Yeah.
So it's not bacteria, it's not virus. There's no cure except for drugs right now, because it's very difficult to make a vaccine or anything for an actual parasite, very much like malaria. So of course, to kill this thing in your system, you can get some drugs. However, this group of Canadian homeopaths say they can detect, prevent, and treat the disease somehow. So the Quebec-based Terre Sans Frontières, which means
World Without Borders?
Yeah, World Without Borders. Yeah. Earth Terror. World Without Borders. They've got $350,000 in aid money from Global Affairs Canada to send more than a dozen volunteers to Honduras over 5 years.
No kidding, eh?
How did they demonstrate this to these people that gave them $350,000 was my question. Who are these people? So they talk about they got a federal grant to treat and train Honduras in homeopathy. So I'm like, who are these people? What is this place? Oddly enough, this place also sends dentists and eye doctors out, so legitimate professionals. But how did these homeopaths get in with these people? Was my question.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
I
was looking. It seems they're doing a lot of good work, but yeah, you're right.
But now they're going to send these people to train people how to use homeopathy instead of medicine.
You know, something that'll work, in other words.
Yeah, they're going to convince people to use this instead because it's cheap. Well, okay, that's pretty disgusting. So I looked into it further.
Well, if it worked, I wouldn't care, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to close some windows here because I have a lot open right now. So this actually started in 2015. So why it's finally being reported now after all these years, I don't know. But it goes back even further than that. So if you go to this Terre Sans Frontières, it's a lot of French, of course. It's French. But I found an English part on their website.
There's an English tab at the top right.
Yeah.
French and English. Yeah.
So this is their justification from on their page. Although it's often not known or understood by many people, homeopathy is a wide-ranging healing modality. No, it's not. Has significant advantages. No, it doesn't. One of these advantages they're talking about is you don't need medical training to do it. They're actually quite proud of this. It's cheap. Well, that's because it's just water. So this is their justification to get $350,000. It's bloody ironic if you ask me.
One of the problems is that this is going to undermine real efforts to combat Chagas, which is, localized primarily to
$350,000 that could have gotten them pharmaceuticals at work. They're going to teach this it's apparently unique method of homeopathy to the community leaders with the long-term goal of having the populations become more autonomous with their healthcare needs as people die. Since medical care is not widely available nor affordable, they're going to do this instead. The organization also, it's been in Honduras for 15 years with the farmers in the mountainous regions. For many years, this work was carried out from one main dispensary and until now, because of this money, in 2015, several dispensaries that were created. So the work is able to continue with funding from this Global Affairs Canada, formerly known as Department of External Affairs, and now the governmental department responsible for foreign relations, international trade. This is embarrassing. These are not dentists. These are not doctors. This is our government-sanctioned help for Honduras. That's not going to help.
I think that, so does this, first of all, my question is, does this grant include the other programs like the optometry program?
No, not for Honduras, just the homeopathy. They're going to spend $350,000 for more than 12 homeopaths to do this, to teach people how to make homeopathy cheap because you don't need a medical degree to do it.
Are they claiming this homeopathic crap can only cure that one particular
they said
that you called out?
Yep.
If they're not claiming that it can cure everything, and it actually can cure that, I'm thinking, if you went to a place where everybody had a bunch of headaches and you gave them some willow bark, right? That's aspirin.
This is water.
But this is just
water. This is water.
Yeah.
This is water.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
We're not talking about herbology, which
there
are some herbs that
water
work,
and banging it.
Not very well.
Yeah.
They probably take the actual parasite, dilute it out so there's none of the parasite left, and then give it as the remedy.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking naturopath for some reason, even though the word
these are homeopaths.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so cheap and why you don't need anything but water.
Yeah, really.
Or why you don't need a medical degree to do it. So 5 years later, we're getting on 4 years after. Has anyone asked for evidence of this doing anything?
Well, I'm glad this article came out.
What is this government agency? What is the accountability for spending $350,000? What did they ask for to show what they were going to do, and how did it work? Why is there no evidence needed to give out $350,000?
I love the picture. I love the picture in this CBC report. I'm looking at the person sitting in front of this guy, doing these dilutions, and she's looking up at him like,
it's pretty skeptical. Like,
right.
What the fuck are you doing, dude?
So this humongous waste of money, and the whole reason they're doing it is to formulate relationships. This is completely embarrassing. I mean, totally. What's come of this? What has come of this? How is Shagas doing in these areas?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
There's nothing. I can't find this information anywhere. This is crap. This is a waste of taxpayer money, and it needs to stop. Who do we... Right. $350,000 of pharmaceuticals could have helped these people.
Yeah, no kidding. That's awful.
And they could have made a deal with the drug companies. I actually didn't know that Chagas was... This must be fairly recent, because the last I looked into Chagas, it wasn't curable. So it must be a fairly recent thing in the pharmaceutical side of things.
Okay, all so right. Here's the claim. They secured government grant to treat and train Hondurans in homeopathy to prevent epidemics, as well as open 7 homeopathic dispensaries.
Oh, lovely.
This is what the money went to, besides actual things that work. And how did they get this money? Maybe they do give legitimate help through the optometry and other such, but I want to know how homeopaths got in on this. And why this organization, this Earth Without Borders organization, is doing this.
Those are questions that need to be asked of our
government
representatives in the House of Commons.
When you give out grants, shouldn't you demand some kind of efficacy, some kind of evidence before you get the money?
Yeah. All right.
Or at least a solid methodology.
But you know what? There's a cleanse for that.
It's called religion. It'll wash your brain.
No. There's an actual cleanse. Yeah, they talk about a bunch of stuff here. Boost your immune system with a parasite cleanse. So clean your parasites. Cleaning up your diet in an effort to detoxify. The buzzword detoxify, I mean, it's always there. Your system will likely not solve an infection on its own. No kidding! but it can help you to feel better. Oh, yay! I feel awesome having something shoved up my butt.
Effect. Woo!
Take black walnut supplements, about 250 milligrams, 3 times daily. Oh, that sounds doctory, doesn't it? To reduce symptoms of intestinal infection. Try wormwood, about 200 milligrams taken 3 times daily, which is known for its anti-parasitic properties. Oh, I'm sure it is. And use oregano essential oil, or take supplements. 500 milligrams taken 4 times daily, which contains natural antibacterial and anti-parasitic compounds. That's a mouthful. Clove oil is similar to oregano oil in that it can help kill harmful organisms. Sure, if you drown them in it. Increase your intake of cleansing foods such as fresh herbs or spices like ginger and turmeric, anise and fennel, lemon juice. Lemon juice is a cleanse. Yeah, okay. Aloe vera. Ugh. Ew.
I'm sorry, but this stuff's all too expensive compared to water. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but it's just as effective. It's just as effective.
Lovely.
Well, of course, but it's too expensive. Come on, Randy. $350,000 in water is much cheaper.
Yeah, that's true.
But mind you, they're paying for their travel of these homeopaths. They're paying for their stay there. They're paying to open dispensary. All of this money, $350,000 on that, to give these people money, to teach people how to do homeopathy, sell them on a bunch of bullshit, and they're not going to get better.
No.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
They'll feel better for a little bit because somebody was addressing their concerns. I mean, but that's subjective. Objectively, they're still screwed, and people are going to die. So,
I've been looking for answers to these questions and not finding them. As a taxpayer, I'm outraged.
Yeah, we need to ask. Oh, yeah. Well, we could mention the Calgary City Councillor that you found this, Twyla. Hopes for open minds amid request for fluoride study. How many studies do you need?
Exactly. So finally, the city council is looking at twice as many kids are getting cavities now. How'd that happen? Wow, you take fluoride out of water, people get cavities. Oh my God.
Having an open mind is code word for I'm waiting for the studies which actually prove me right. The one study.
Well, she wants it back in the water. I think this one actually does want it back in the water because she's looking at the statistics. That's what I got out of the article.
Oh, okay.
That's yeah. So, but she knows everybody else is convinced by whatever bullshit they were sold on in the first place about fluoride. Not being any good for you for some reason, and they would just stick it in the water and waste money on it for no reason. Now twice as many kids are getting cavities. So she wants yet another study done locally, even though there's bazillions of studies out there that have already showed how safe it is and how it occurs naturally in the water and how it actually is used by the body. You can actually cook the chemistry of the body implementing this thing and how it helps prevent cavities when you have it with your teeth. So not only does it help your teeth, it helps your bones. So now she was trying to convince the rest of the council members to go through with this study. So we're going to waste taxpayer money on another study done locally. Why? Because they can't trust anybody else on the whole freaking planet?
Good rant.
Great. Nice. we should do like a clip of our rants or something like that. A special edition rant, or special rant edition. Well,
that would be a lot of work.
How about learn some chemistry, you nitwits? You're leading all of the kids in your city to, not financial ruin, but oral ruin.
Yeah.
How about
and that's just the ones we know about too. Like they talk about the. I can't remember what it was, but there's a truck that goes around and gives, I guess, dental attention to, I guess, homeless children and stuff like that, right? So what about the kids who are not visiting the dentist, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's lots of them. Maybe the
families don't have insurance. That didn't use anesthesia. Nose freezing. Really, hey? Son of a bitch, if I ever met him on the street. Yeah.
My dentist gave me that option. He just said, "Well, try it out, and if it doesn't work, we'll just freeze you." And it was fine. Because that's what I thought. Oh my God, you're not going to freeze me? Have you lost your freaking mind? It was fine.
Laughing gas and whatever else.
No, it's got to be freezing.
It's got to be freezing. Yeah.
It's got to be freezing.
Wow. So when I was a kid, I rarely went to the dentist.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, I went to the dentist up until I was about 6 and didn't see one again until I was a teenager. So even after some teeth got knocked out of my face.
Wow.
So I just shoved them back up in there. I had my 2 front teeth in my hand because I ran into a fence.
Wow.
Huh. So my mom still didn't take me to the dentist. So yeah, there's kids like me out there that don't see dentists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had cavities. I went to the dentist when I was a teenager and had cavities filled, but we don't know the full impact of them taking out the fluoride because I'm sure they're not going to waste money studying that. Instead, they're going to waste it on another study telling you what we could already demonstrate by explaining the chemistry.
Yeah, just do a meta-analysis of the studies that have already been done.
That exist. I mean, they don't know what that means. I mean, having an ignorant population in charge of cities is how you get fluoride out of water in the first place, but...
Because you get idiots who think that it's the greatest hoax perpetuated on mankind.
Even though now we can fully demonstrate in the city what happens when you take it out.
Anybody ever see Dr. Strangelove?
I think so.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people out there that will get the reference, purity of essence, that kind of thing. All right, the last bit, we got to get through this, is Eye on Islam. Let's go there. Yeah, Eye on Islam. Come on. Go.
I'll be back. My dog's trying to freeze me to death.
is that playing?
The Legion of Reason presents Eye on Islam.
Oh, that looked good. Except I forgot the chrome. Yeah, that's one of the new bumpers that I've been designing in DaVinci Resolve. That's one of the best freewares ever. I have the paid version, but yeah, it's fun. I love doing that stuff. Yeah, all these ISIS fighters that are, the wonderful caliphate has crumbled and in Syria, and they're all wanting to come home. Here, I got to play this because, just listen to this. Oh, it's an ad. Ad will end in 12 seconds. Okay, I'm going to just keep talking for a bit. Yeah, so a lot of these people that are captured, especially by the Kurds, the Americans want all the countries they're originating. Oh, sorry, here, they want them to be repatriated so they don't have them running around, making trouble after they've been released.
Send them home, send them to jail.
I actually agree we should be repatriating them, but as soon as they get home, you slap the cuffs on them, you put them on trial. Here we go. Let's listen to this.
U.S.-led coalition warplanes bombed the last ISIS stronghold in Syria, with jihadists putting up a fierce fight on the ground.
Boo.
But it's feared the terror group still has sleeper cells.
Pockets in the desert, they've got people intermingling with the population, acting as civilians, just biding their time.
For 4 years, Canadian Muhammad Ali fought on the front lines for ISIS and used social media to recruit others. He was captured by coalition forces while trying to flee into Turkey with his Canadian wife and 2 children.
Any foreigner that tries to leave, if he gets caught, he's going to get a bullet to the back of his head.
Detained in Syria for the past 9 months, Ali says he is in legal limbo and is pleading with the Canadian government for help.
Why shouldn't I be able to go home? I've done nothing in Canada. I've broken no laws there at all.
Oh, let's just stop right there, buddy. Yeah, actually, you did break the law. It's Section 83 of the Criminal Code regarding terrorism.
No kidding. Wow.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't get it. And in fact, you fought in a foreign land and you're an enemy combatant. You're not a soldier. You're not recognized as a state, as belonging to any state's army. They can put you in prison, and there's almost nothing the Canadian government can do about it. And just making all they can do is make sure that you're not being mistreated. But foreigners or Canadians commit crimes in foreign lands all the time and have to suffer the consequences.
And don't get to come home. Yeah. That's
too bad.
If you do come home, you're still going to get cuffs slapped on you. You're still going to get thrown in jail, and you're still going to get charged with terrorism,
even
murder,
if you spend
whatever
time
else.
in jail there. You're still going to spend time in jail here. There's another one. This is going to have to load. Okay. This guy. The FBI really wants this guy. He's a Canadian, and it was basically the English voice of ISIS recruitment, Mohammed Khalifa. He was captured in Syria last month by U.S.-backed militia, and he spoke in an interview about being the voice of a 2014 video. These people don't regret it. He says, no, I don't regret it. I was asked the same thing by my interrogators, and and they're blaming the Canadian government, saying, "Oh, like the other guy, Muhammad Ali, said, well, they're leaving us hanging out to dry." Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that, you dumb SOB. Yeah. Come on.
I mean,
just don't believe the conservative propaganda coming out saying that the liberals just want to set them loose in the streets. No, that's not how it works, and that's not what's going to happen if they do come to Canada. I'm sorry, but stop listening to that crap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just He immigrated as a child from Saudi Arabia to Toronto, so he's an expat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's consequences for your actions. These entitled assholes need to learn that.
Yeah, he's entitled to due process, and right up, and up to and including throwing his ass in the slammer.
Yep. I'm sorry, but you can be convicted of the crimes you did.
He's going to be convicted,
no matter where you are.
No question, right? I mean, there's no.
It's well known what he did.
It's no contest, right? Because we know where he's been. And the wives are trying to come home. Look at that lovely woman in her niqab.
Again, they think they're entitled to no consequences for their actions.
Yeah, exactly. And they want to come home and raise their children because it's safer here. And yeah, that's then because of you. You're the one who's making things unsafe.
Yeah, we don't want you back. Sorry.
Well, if they're citizens, they should be treated as such. But when they
should
come
also
back,
face the consequences.
Yep, they face the rule of law. Yeah. So there's people from all over the world that have gone. These silly people, stupid, thought it would be this utopia, Islamic utopia, as if there could possibly be such a thing. I mean, just look at that. Look at that empowerment in that niqab. Just all that empowerment. And I get really ticked off at AJ Plus, Al Jazeera Plus, on Twitter.
Yeah.
They continually try to normalize this shit.
Fetishize.
They fetishize it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and worse.
So you're talking about the hijab, not.
Yeah. Well, even the hijab.
Yeah.
Hijab, niqab. It's to see this as some. What kind of twisted logic leads anyone to the conclusion that this is empowering and ultimate feminism?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, you'd be Linda Sarsour. I mean, there you go.
Yeah. She's not a feminist.
I know.
Anti-Semite. Oh my God.
She's an anti-Semitic. Yeah.
I've never had anything good to say about her, and I've only gone downhill in terms. Okay, no, I'm not going to rant about that.
Yeah. Why not? It goes into the rant file. Here's another one. This one's a little bit more of a sticky wicket because when she left, she was 15. This is a woman from London, Shamima Begum. She was not of the age of minority, a very stupid girl. Mm-hmm. She married 3 men, 2 of which died on the battlefield. And feared for her unborn child after her 2 other children died.
Died of what?
Oh, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I was weak, she told the Times from... I'm going to do this in voice. I was weak, she told the Times from the Al-Hal refugee camp in northeastern Syria. I could not endure the suffering and hardship that staying on the battlefield involved, but I was also frightened that the child I am about to give birth to would die like my other children if I stayed on, so I fled the caliphate. Now all I want to do is come home to Britain.
Okay, well, come home to Britain and get tried for your crimes, okay.
You're going to prison. You're going to lose your kid anyway.
Well, we might live, though.
Yeah, that's true.
We can only guess that there's not very good health care with this
God.
group.
Here. This is the kind of... She said... here we go.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, some of those groups actually offer aid and medical support, and that's how they manage to recruit some people.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like the mob. They or the drug lords, more specifically in Mexico, they toss money around and build hospitals and schools and stuff. Mm-hmm. That gets the local populace on their side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know how much Pablo Escobar estimated one time how much money he lost every day because the money was rotting.
What does that mean? The money was rotting, not being circulated?
It was literally rotting. They couldn't store it properly because they were running out of places to store the money.
Holy crap!
That's how much he was saying that he was losing $2 million a day from rotting cash.
Jeez,
just rotting in the ground.
Wow!
Amazing. I mean, it's just crazy how much money that they were making. It is, Anyway, that's an aside. I'm full of these random bits of knowledge, which make me very good at things like Trivial
Pursuit.
Yeah. Yeah. When I saw my first severed head in a bin, it didn't faze me at all. It was from a captured fighter seized on the battlefield, an enemy of Islam. I should have done that voice, but oh well. Like, these people are just...
They're saying all the right things to go to jail, so...
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I didn't regret any of this
They can keep talking.
Yeah, she didn't regret going there either. Like,
okay, well...
Except for the part where your kids died.
Yeah. That was great, wasn't it?
And so... And this is just a thing. An item was... Canada may not have to repatriate ISIS fighters from Syria. Of course not. No. They're criminals.
Just leave them to rot where they are.
Yep. Just make sure that they're not being mistreated, and there you go. But at least by the guards. But the prisoners, other prisoners, well, okay. You can't do much about that. Too bad.
Maybe they can be held up examples of what not to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get lied to go over there, and then you're going to find it's not all hunky-dory.
Here's an example of some of the deference given to Islam that it wouldn't be given to anybody else. Apple and Google urged to remove Saudi app that tracks women.
Isn't that unreal?
They didn't do
it's a Saudi app. What are they doing supporting it?
To ask them.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Wow.
This is like... Seriously, this is... The level of control over women that men assert in these countries is it's not repressive, it's not oppressive, it's way beyond that.
But do we not have software to track our children and stuff like that here? And some creepy people
sure, but
track their spouses and stuff like that.
That's not what they're using this for, obviously.
Yeah, but I'm saying the technology. It's not like this is anything new in a sense, right? But it's illegal to. Well, I guess not with your children, but
it's quite a bit different.
Yeah, it is, but.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. You could probably use that to track your wife.
Yeah.
Or my wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, not my wife.
My wife would be like, "Yep, you're getting divorced." Okay.
Maybe go ahead.
Track me, but it's gonna be pretty boring.
Hey, yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you allow it? Oh.
On your phone and stuff.
Because if you're behaving yourself, who gives a rat's ass?
So when you don't want to behave yourself, what do you do?
What's up?
So when you don't want to behave yourself, what are you doing? Like, what would you do?
I don't know. Nobody tracks me. Nobody cares about that shit in my life, so I don't have to worry about it.
We were doing a what-if thing.
What if? What if I wanted to misbehave myself?
Yeah.
I'd turn the phone off, I suppose. I have no idea.
What if you didn't know it was on your phone? What if you didn't know it was on your phone?
Oh, then that's fine. You get in trouble. Consequences, reactions.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I wouldn't. And you deserve it. I have no sympathy.
You think these guys are going to tell
Thanks,
their wives that...
I thought you'd help me bury the bodies. What the hell?
They're not going to tell their wives about this app. They're going to put it on their phone, and they're going to track them.
Yeah, and then stone them to death if they go pee somewhere in the wrong place.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Get caught in the Jewish quarter or something. That would be... Oof.
That's scary.
Education, not indoctrination. This is the last story. Education, not indoctrination. Muslim parents lead group of 300 in protest outside school gates against equality lessons on homosexuality and gender.
Homeschool then, you dumb shits. Same thing I would tell a Christian.
Islam, the religion of peace. As long as you're another Muslim, or the right kind of Muslim, for that matter. That's, we can't say that this is really any different than what's going on in, say, Ontario. The curriculum there was being protested here. But it's more of the same.
Didn't they threaten?
What's that?
Did they not threaten? Okay, well, we'll go home if you're going to teach this stuff. People are like,
goodbye.
Okay, bye. Don't let the door slam your ass on the way out.
I'd be like, do you promise?
Did we have?
Can we get that in writing?
Yeah. Here, I'll buy you.
We can all sign it.
Yeah, take your bigotry home, and we'll all be the better for it.
Respect and be.
Did we ever talk about the fact that we have a Muslim party in Ontario? I can't remember if we talked about that.
No, I don't think we did.
Well, there's Christian parties.
The name was registered, but I don't know if that's actually official. So it's We'll
there's
keep an
Christian
eye on
parties, so it's only fair.
Christian Heritage Party.
Yeah.
Which is, of course,
and everybody ignores them.
Wrong, but yeah, of course.
Let's hope everybody ignores this too.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, they're not going to. Even in Alberta, they're not going to get any traction. So.
Well. Yeah.
Well, if you're a damn school bus driver, or a bus driver who won't drive a bus with any advertising on it that relates to LGBT.
Or pride celebrations, yeah, you're right, yeah.
He wants to arm bears. That was funny. That guy is a nut. Yeah. His 15 minutes of fame are over. This is the guy that wouldn't drive the bus in Calgary because of it had LGBT. What was it? Something about pride on it.
Yeah, it was promoting our Pride Week.
Yeah, and he wouldn't drive the bus and got fired.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get fired because he refused to drive the bus. I think he got fired because he went to the media. I think it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
There's a way around it anyway. He didn't
you don't
job,
do that.
But he was quite happy about that.
There's a protocol to, he could have, kept his mouth shut or not kept his mouth shut, but complained to the boss. Okay, I'll put somebody else on it. But no, he had to go public, and that's dumbass. He hasn't. His 15 minutes of fame are over, and he hasn't been seen since.
Yep, and
we're done.
Now we know who he is.
Done.
And avoid.
We got through all this stuff. I do want to return back to the at some later date. Return back to the Pope and his 21 proposals, and all the other crap that he meditation points or whatever they were.
We need to get a hold of this damn list.
That too, but I also had to there was some other stuff that we were talking about that to keep evil from happening, surround yourself with a bunch of other religious figures and stupid crap like that. It was just wow. It's just more of the same. It's not ending. It's not going to end. They're not doing anything concrete about it. It's just going to keep happening, and we're going to keep seeing these scandals over and over again. We're seeing the spate now because there's a long history of undisclosed cases of child abuse, but it's not going to. So the dam is burst, but we're still going to see it. Still see it happening in the future, unless they do something radical. It's too radical for them. No, zero tolerance party is too radical.
Yeah, it'll just be excuses and justifications and.
Well, he did. He did make excuses. He was defensive about it, saying that abuse happens in all areas of society, and I'm like, well, shouldn't it happen less in religious ones if it makes people better?
No shit.
And they should act accordingly instead of hiding it.
And moving people around? If schools did that, can you imagine?
Yeah, exactly. Schools have protocols in place.
Imagine if you moved a gym teacher around to many different schools after he molested kids in gym class.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
I don't understand.
The double standards are ridiculous. Why are they above the law?
Catholics should be ashamed of their religion. Just absolute. I don't understand how they compartmentalize this. I mean, I assume actually a lot of people don't know a lot of what's been going on, because we watch the news. We get, I monitor my.
You don't watch Fox News.
And yeah, well, that too. I would, but it costs extra. Seriously, I would. It would be hilarious. I
like to watch things. I don't watch Fox in particular, but I do.
Well, you can watch things I
disagree with, right?
You can watch Fox and Friends online if you want. Just Fox and Friends on YouTube. They totally pander to Trump. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
Or just watch Colbert Show. He shows clips all the time.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I often see takedowns by critics and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't watch it per se. But I do kind of hate watch a few things. Some stuff I hate watch just because it's kind of fun every once in a while. And a lot of stuff I just watch because I disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that.
I'm afraid we're in for another 4 more years of Trump after this.
Well, the way it's going with Bernie and everything again, everybody's they're fighting over the same things. They're letting the same stuff happen, sharing the same fake news they did before just because it supports their point of view.
Look who's getting elected in the Democratic Party. I mean, AOC. Oh.
She's a little radical, yeah.
She's radical, but she's just like ignorant,
she was stupid about a few things.
Work and something.
Yeah.
But Bernie, it sounds like he's raised a lot of money very quickly after he announced his.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he
did.
So I really hope that.
I think he's electable. I don't think he's electable in the U.S.
Yeah, he'd be.
Well, if he starts getting ahead, he'll be targeted by the Russian bots immediately. So
he'd
expect
be normal
to see
in Canada, but in the U.S. he is way out there. And
anyone who's a frontrunner in the States, watch out for the fake news.
Could you imagine?
It's going to get shared.
I don't even know what's fake and what's what was that? There was that actor that was just
Jesse's.
Yeah.
What a douchebag.
Well, the media jumped on that.
Oh yeah, of course. I didn't say anything because something sounded hinky to me, and I thought, I'm not going to say anything until this is investigated. And something was really off about it, and it didn't sound right. And sure enough, he did it because he wanted more money on the show. How did he figure that was going to happen, by the way? I don't understand this. Ostensibly, that's what this is why you don't automatically believe people. Most of the time, it's going to be correct. But then there's the odd one, which is going to be all wrong, and you're going to be stuck with egg on your face. And a lot of people were stuck with egg on their face because they just jumped on the racism bandwagon. And it's a combination of racism and homophobia. And it was an interesting article in Quillette that talked about these hoaxes. They're actually more common than you think. They happen a lot on university campuses, and Jesse Smollett was for monetary gain, but most of the time they do it because they want to draw attention to another incident that happened that wasn't attention that wasn't drawn to it. Of course, how they figure that doesn't backfire, I have no idea. It backfires every time because it's found out.
Well, if they get caught,
and they usually do, because
hopefully
no, they have to verify the story. I mean, if things aren't being verified, they start wondering about it, and they start looking on the person who's claiming the hoax. What?
Journalists or like?
Oh, if journalists are found out, they're
police.
They're over. They're done. They're finished.
I don't think so.
No.
They're constantly spewing out shit before any evidence is brought to bear.
We're talking about if they perpetrated a Jesse Smollett story, yeah, they no news organization would ever touch them again. Yeah, they're
seemed a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon.
Oh yeah, well you can jump on the bandwagon, but you're reporting. All you're doing is reporting what Jesse Smollett was claiming. That's fine. When it comes out that it was a hoax, it's not the fault of the reporter. It's the fault of the hoax.
No, of course not.
Right.
Yeah. But there's ways to frame things that are, less objective than others, right?
I understand, but I mean, as part of this is a human interest story, and when it originally came out, and I think it's okay to comment on that being racist, because if it happened, it would be incredibly racist and homophobic.
That's true.
So what's...
And I don't think anybody would deny that, but if you just automatically assume it was a racial attack, and you don't wait for the evidence, and
if you do what happened in one of the riots after a police officer killed a African American man, and his sister, they reported that his sister was saying, "Don't do all this vandalism here." They didn't report the other part of the sentence. Do it in the white neighborhoods.
Yeah,
that was stepping over the line, and it was one. Most media outlets only reported the part where she's saying, "Don't be vandalizing." No, that's not what she meant. She meant, "Don't do it here.
Yeah.
Do it." And that was reprehensible, and that is completely changing the story altogether. And that they shouldn't do. And you're right. They didn't get. They weren't. They didn't suffer any consequences.
Neutral.
That was bad, because that's false reporting.
Yeah.
And it took a conservative, a decidedly conservative. It might have been Fox actually, reporting to actually set the record straight. That's sad. When Fox is setting the record straight. If that was Fox. I can't remember if it was Fox or not. It was one of those right-wing news outlets. So, anyway, it's bedtime. It's past bedtime. Well past bedtime.
Wow, we've been going for a while, huh?
Yeah.
Well, part of that was,
we had to cut some of that out. And
there's some that's going to get cut out for the audio. Hopefully the audio survived all these crashes and stuff. I think it did. I just checked the stuff. So anyway, I'm going to close this out because
okay.
Bye.